The moment. There is a particular weight to the timing of this departure, falling as it does just as the sun slips into Cancer, the sign of home, roots and endings. On June 22nd, 2026, at noon in New York, the charts show a world pausing at a threshold. The sun's recent ingress into the cardinal waters of Cancer marks the summer solstice, a point in the year where the light stalls before turning, and here it heralds the exit of the man who once commanded the tides of the American economy. The sky does not scream of catastrophe. Rather, it hums with complexity and release. The Seismic Index is sitting at a strong 810 and climbing, indicating that this is not a quiet period of mourning, but a moment of high-tension dispersal. Energy is moving outward, not holding still. With the midheaven in Gemini and the ascendant in Virgo, the immediate atmosphere is one of information, data, and a clamouring of details. The maestro is gone, and the air is thick with the analysis of his words, his riddles, and the legacy of irrational exuberance. We see a dominant signature of mental activity. Mercury is tightly sextile Mars in the event sky. This suggests that the death itself and the immediate reaction to it is sharp, driven, and deeply entangled with matters of economic policy and executive action. It isn't a sleepy farewell, it is a trigger. The wider period is charged with a slow, grinding heaviness from Saturn and Aries, which speaks to the state apparatus and the hard realities of austerity coming to bear just as a legend departs. The tension between needing to break new ground, Uranus in Gemini, and the limits of the system, Saturn, defines the backdrop. What it touches. When we look at the transits to Alan Greenspan's own chart, founded March 6, 1926, we see a picture of a definitive contract being fulfilled. He is passing at the completion of a long cycle. The most telling signature is transiting Saturn, making a near-exact sextile to his natal Jupiter. In mundane terms, this is the signature of a dignified conclusion. Jupiter represents the expansion of his influence, the philosophy he espoused, and Saturn is the structure of time itself. This aspect suggests that his reputation is being cemented not in chaos, but through a formal, even state-sanctioned recognition of his era. The establishment, or Saturn, is closing the book on his expansive legacy, or Jupiter, with a measured hand. However, the scrutiny is immediate. The transiting Sun is square his natal Mercury, the planet of communication. Within hours of the news breaking, the debate reignites. His words, those famously cryptic Greenspanisms, are being dissected, challenged, and weighed against the economic realities of 2026. This is a square friction. The harmony of the retrospective clashes with the sharpness of the present moment. Furthermore, transiting Mars sits in opposition to his natal Saturn. This is a classic signature of the physical body yielding to the limits of time. In a mundane reading of a public figure, this also signifies a clash between his old methods of discipline and control, natal Saturn, and the aggressive driving forces of the current market or political climate, Mars. We are witnessing the end of a style of governance that believed in the invisible hand. The opposition suggests the market is pushing back against that old restraint, finally breaking the grip. This death marks the moment the establishment of the late 20th century loses one of its final pillars. How it rolls forward. The story does not end with the funeral. The astrological road ahead suggests that the death of this figure is merely the precursor to a massive structural overhaul in the financial world. In the weeks following June 22nd, the sky builds toward a rare and heavy cluster of aspects in mid to late July 2026. We are seeing a grand correction forming in the heavens. Watch late July specifically. Around the 20th, Jupiter moves to oppose Pluto while simultaneously trining Neptune. This is a volatile mix for the economy. Jupiter is excess and credit, Pluto is debt, power, and the underworld of finance. Neptune is dissolved boundaries and speculation. when these three lock horns, it signals a period where the Greenspan put, the idea that the Fed will always save the market, is being tested to its absolute limit. The illusion of endless liquidity or Neptune is hitting a wall, or Pluto. It is likely that his death coincides with or accelerates a crisis in central banking policy, a moment where the old tools no longer work the way they did when he was at the helm. By August, the tension peaks with a total solar eclipse in Leo on the 12th. Eclipses act as wildcards that obscure the light and then demand a new direction. In the sign of leadership, or Leo, this eclipse suggests a changing of the guard, and financial governance is not just theoretical, it is mandatory. The king is dead, and the eclipse forces the question of who truly holds the power now. A tarot overlay for this period offers a quiet, intuitive colour to these heavy transits. The imagery suggests a tower that has stood for a lifetime is finally crumbling, not with malice but with the inevitability of old stone settling. There is a sense of pages turning and of a long, quiet exhalation from the collective spirit of the markets. The advice from the cards is pragmatic. Do not cling to the old maps, for the terrain has shifted beneath our feet. Summary? The passing of Alan Greenspan acts not as a sudden shock, but as the formal closing of a long economic chapter, triggering a period of intense scrutiny and necessary structural unraveling. First, an immediate re-evaluation of monetary policy is driven by the Sun-square-Mercury transit, sparking a sharp critical debate over the Greenspan legacy of deregulation and easy money. Second, we see the loss of the old guard stability, signified by Mars opposing natal Saturn, marking the definitive end of an era where the Fed chair held a singular patriarchal sway over global markets. Following this, we enter a summer of financial reckoning as Jupiter opposes Pluto in late July, exposing deep structural debts and power struggles within the banking system that were previously papered over. Next comes a leadership vacuum and succession crises, highlighted by the August total solar eclipse in Leo, forcing a chaotic but necessary reshuffling of leadership roles in central banks and governments. Finally, anticipate market volatility and tech disruption, fueled by Uranus in Gemini sextile Neptune, introducing erratic, technology-driven shocks to the financial systems Greenspan once ruled. The skies suggest that while the man is gone, the turbulence he helped contain and perhaps create is only just beginning to truly unwind.
Before you go. When a titan like Greenspan departs, and the charts speak of such heavy structural changes for the summer, it is natural to wonder how these shifting tides might ripple into your own life. A monthly transit forecast can offer you a sense of agency in chaotic times, breaking down the specific planetary themes and key dates for the weeks to come so you can navigate the predicted financial volatility of July and August with your eyes wide open. As the reading suggests, the old maps no longer serve us, and finding your professional footing in this new landscape may feel uncertain. I encourage you to explore a tarot standard reading, particularly focusing on the work/career path spread to illuminate the challenges and opportunities now presenting themselves in your vocation. This focused spread can help you see beyond the crumbling towers of the past and find a stable direction forward amidst the market's correction. Both of these tools are available here at Occultique whenever you feel called to seek deeper insight.